to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
What is going on, everybody? We are back and about to approach the halfway stage of day one here at the DreamHack Astro DreamHack Open Tour for 2018. It's a pleasure to be back here. It's third year in a row for myself and Natu on the very left, and in the middle we've got Blair, who is here for the first time. Great to see you guys. How's it going? Do you have a nice little break in between the games?
Yeah. We've got the camaraderie going here still. It's the first day, right?
That bike guy was amazing.
No one's hitting each other yet, so it's all good in the hood.
Yeah, well, up next we have Godsent versus AGO. This is going to be a matchup that I think is very difficult to call. I mean, Godsent, I think, on paper are the team that could be favourites here, but AGO could definitely pull something off in terms of an upset. And they even have some players that have been firing off at past events. So.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of pedigree to be called a team capable of doing things. Say, just beat North, for example, to qualify for the next Star Ladder event, right?
Yes,
so they definitely have the pedigree to make this competitive. And these teams do have history. They played at one another. It's 10-10 in wins right now, head-to-head between these two teams. So I feel like this is definitely going to be. I mean, we've already had two very close games, one overtime and one 16-14, right? So. I mean, how much closer does it get?
I mean, if you look at it recently, though, right, Godsent have kind of had a slight little edge over AGO overall, and I think the one factor here is the fact that Furlan's going to be calling for AGO, and
he's one of the more experienced players from that Polish team, right?
Yeah,
so
he is.
Presumably, if he's calling, that's at least a good start for them against a team like Godsent.
Absolutely, and I'm just looking at the, I forgot who it was from AGO who gave an interview on HLTV. He had mentioned how Furlan calling now, they have a more loser, more FPL style. That's what he said. That's what he said. You know, it's a more loser, more free-flowing style, and I don't know how effective that's going to be. Godsent have been pretty impressive of late as well. They've been looking pretty good, but then again, it's on LAN, and it's on LAN. I think the last time it faced off against was on the Q Invitational, I think, where Godsent did lose to AGO in a pretty close fashion again. So yeah, this one's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to be the closest matchup we have today.
Yeah, let's take a look at Group A, the group that these two teams are in, and see how things have transpired so far. Earlier today, it was Gambit that just edged out Talked in a double overtime, and now that means Talked have moved into the lower bracket and will face the loser of this matchup between Godsent and AGO. Natu, would you like to give any thoughts on how this matchup we are about to see might pan out?
Let me find my crystal ball.
Oh. Sorry, is it?
I think I left
misplaced it somewhere.
I think it's in the green room. No, I think it's definitely going to be a fun game for sure. I mean, Godsent to me is a team with a lot of jokers on it in the terms of how they are as players. You know, I mean, you think of every one of them. Brawlin, for example, a young prodigy. You know, everyone wants a piece of him. He's the up and coming big talent in Sweden, for example. Discodol Plan has already had his moments, and feeling like he could definitely be the one, but. The thing is, though, like considering how young these kids are, my good friend Nico Nasu has a handful of work for him to be able to make this team work as a team.
As the map veto comes up on screen, I think something that's worth noting about Godsent is that they're a team that, since their formation, the multiple rosters they've had, they always have an air of interest about them, and they're always a team with at least some very talented players, but they've never had fantastic results, other than maybe their first, was it third place that they finished at DreamHack Malmo 2016, and that was a completely different roster. Blair,
different generation.
Yeah, exactly, completely different generation. Blair, maybe you'd like to run everybody at home through the veto and how we've ended up on Overpass.
So yeah, I mean, right now we're going to be seeing this quite often, like the teams playing chicken as who's going to ban out Dust 2 first, and Godsent not taking any chances. They're going to remove Dust 2. Inferno's not going to be seen. That's a map where Godsent have actually had the edge over AGO. So AGO banning out Inferno at the very end there makes a lot of sense. Overpass, this is going to be very, very close. It's going to be very hard to call. I think Godsent are very, very solid there overall, and AGO as well. Now with the more free-flowing structure, I did see a couple of maps. I don't think I saw Overpass recently from them, but you know, they're a team who do have a structure. You know, it's a highly tactical map, but at the same time, they might be throwing in, you know, something from the left field, something which might catch Godsent off guard. It's just going to depend. I feel it's going to depend on who's really going to show up. Like the star players, you're talking about Broland, you're talking about Twist, right?
Talking about them, let's get Godsent up on screen. You guys can continue your points because we're going to look at Godsent in a bit more detail.
There we go, Twist. We mentioned Broland, we mentioned Disco Doblin, right? But I think Twist is going to be the player, you know, the star of the team, the true star of this team. He's going to really step up. Broland has been pretty solid, but then I've noticed as well, right, when it comes to LAN events, we saw this in Betsense Masters as well. We expected him to do what he does best, but he does seem to fall off a little bit, not too much, especially when it comes to LAN events.
He's still so young though,
yeah,
right?
15 years of age.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's only in the very first steps of his whole career, right? So, you kind of have to cut him some slack and give him some time. But I feel like, you know, this team, like I said, is so much talent in this lineup, and I feel like they need to be able to play as cohesively as a unit to be able to be successful, obviously. But on a map like Overpass, you know, I've heard over the grapevine that there might be situations here and there, especially on the CT side of Overpass, you really actually have to be good at calculating risk, knowing when to be aggressive, when do we bunker the sides and so forth, when do we go through smokes and do cheeky plays. So from what I've understood, that's kind of the process that they are going through to understanding the moments that they need to choose between those two kind of approaches to the game. So interesting to see how it works.
Yeah, you were once a competitive CS player at the age of about 15 as well, playing at the time in things that could be comparable to this sort of event back in the day. And so how do you handle that when you're that age, and how do you step up to the occasion? I was terrified. I'm going to be honest, I was really, really terrified.
This is what, 1985 or something?
No, I think 1736. No, but I mean, in 2001,
okay.
WCG in South Korea, World Cyber Games, used to be a thing.
Yeah.
That was the first international tournament that I ever went to. I was 16 at the time. That was in South Korea, where esports was already booming in 2001. They had it on TV, you know, big convention halls. A lot of people playing on the stage. It was something different, very, very different. It's really hard to grasp and kind of try to even explain what it was. But I remember in the place, when you are in those places, you don't necessarily get nervous. But if you, let's say you have like a crazy 3K round, you start shaking after the round really easily.
Yeah. But then again, like if you look at the newer breed of players, right? I mean, talking about 2001, that's when esports wasn't even really a thing, right? You just walk in, you're just playing some video games.
We were cyber athletes at the time.
Cyber athletes, exactly.
Hey, you're still a cyber athlete in my heart.
In cyberspace.
In cyberspace. Was that an actual phrase?
There was a. Yes. Go find the song. Go find the song.
There's a song like cyber athletes in cyberspace.
I will
the WCG song. Oh god.
Okay. All right, as we're drifting off here.
I'm being told we do need to move on. Blair, sorry to cut you short, but if you'd like to continue and give us some thoughts on AGO and who stands out. For me, it's Furlan, who's now turned into Jasmine, one of our fantastic admins, and Groovy. I do not know so much about Snatchy, Toa, and PHR.
I mean, Toa was an in-game leader earlier on, you know, and they wanted to switch something up. It's kind of like, you know, they were doing very good, but at the same time, they kind of seemed to have plateaued out a little bit, which is why Toa was like, you know what, Furlan, why don't you just take the calling duty? So I think it's going to be Grubby and Furlan who are going to be the two players to watch. But then again, Toa, you know, considering that he's no longer calling, would be more unleashed, right? And of course, Snatchy is someone I would just enjoy watching as well. I think they're overall not a crazy team, so to speak, but they're a very structured, very solid team overall. It's kind of like, you know, everyone's kind of equal. There's no like superstar player, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, Poland also is definitely a talent factory, but I feel like the progression of Polish talent has been stopped because of VP being so resilient against changing players through the years.
But then recently, with the departure of Taz and the addition of Mihu, that started to break down a bit slightly, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, now we've seen teams like Ego, Kingwing coming into the play, and they're in the mix, you know. So are they going to be able to take the next step? That really is the question.
I think at tournaments like this is which decides, whether to go through, right? Like they haven't really reached the levels of, the majors, or so to speak, or for example the DreamHack Masters. But events like these are where teams like Godsent, teams like AGO, they put their stamp. They're saying, all right, we are the best among the lot here, and we're going to be taking the next step forward. So both these teams have a lot of things to prove. A lot of young players, a lot of questions behind the teams. But if you look at it overall, I think both the teams are very promising.
Yeah, actually, I mean, for me, AGO is very well constructed. They're very composed. They play a really good team-oriented Counter-Strike, a brand of Counter-Strike, so to speak. So I think that's something, what you need to disrupt with a bit of aggression, but you need to be smart about it, because they're so kind of concentrated in the zone, so to speak. So if you just go relentlessly aggressive, they're gonna make you pay a price. But then again, if you can find the right rhythm of where the aggression is gonna coming in, you do the right pop flashes. You kind of don't ever let them to do their game plan. Is AGO able to kind of reconstruct around the middle of it with like 40 seconds on the clock and the pressure is mounting?
If you look at our live GG bet odds, it's not super close, but you're getting
it's relatively close.
You're getting a decent return on both, and it is, like you said, relatively close. Do you think that's fair? I would have maybe given slightly more of an edge to Godsent, given their history of playing together and overall skill scene, but maybe that's because I don't know so much about AGO. Blair.
No, I think I'm fine with the odds here, because like if you look at Godsent, right, they do have a slight little edge over AGO, to be very honest. They have been a little bit more consistent. They won the key Invitational as well. Yes, they had some Asian teams and whatnot, but then again, we saw what Tyloo did in Sydney recently, right? So there's that. So I think Godsent do have a slight little edge, because AGO, while they do take these games very close against the likes of Imperil, against the likes of Godsent and whatnot, they seem to struggle when it comes to just closing it out, right? I think it was very recently on their map pick, they got 16-0'd by, who was it, man? By North on Inferno. Like, you don't see that happening. They won the series overall, but that's the thing. They're a very up and down team, an up and down team that, they go up and down in a series. Like, they will just, like, completely dominate you on a map, but then they just might disappear on their map pick, for example. So it depends on which AGO we're going to be seeing today.
Indeed. All right, now guys, it's time for predictions. The match will be getting underway in about a minute and a half, so please hurry it along.
No, I'm going to go Godsent's way. That's, I guess, kind of the obvious choice. I do feel like AGO is definitely going to make this very close, and if on a map like Overpass, I kind of set my precedent before already, that if Godsent is not going to be careful with the way that they be aggressive on the city side specifically, I feel like that could be trouble for them. But, I'm going to be hopeful here. I'm going to be biased towards my friend Nico and say that Godsent's going to take this.
I'm going to go with AGO here, because yeah, it's going to be a split desk. And the reason being primarily because of Furlan calling, right? It could be, it could catch Godsent off guard. It's going to be a very close game, obviously, but yeah, I think I'm just going to go with AGO.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to side with Yuna, Natu, and I'll go with Godsent as well. I just think that they've got a bit more history and experience, and to my knowledge, the higher skill ceiling in terms of firepower. Now, I would love to get our casters involved, Scrawny and Hugo, and figure out who you would be picking, my friends.
You know what? I'm gonna have to side with Godsent on this one.
Ooh, you flopped, haven't you? You were going AGO.
Oh, has he said other stuff off camera, Hugo? Is he getting a bit shy?
Right. Classic Connor. To be honest,
Connor.
Like the map veto for a second made me really think that AGO had a really good shot. Like, this is Overpass, they're a great Overpass team, but at the end of the day, the firepower on Godsent I think is just going to overwhelm AGO. So I'm going to stick with you. I think Godsent's the right choice to make.
I'm thinking Hampus. Hampus is a bit of a kind of unspoken quantity here to this team. I think he was brought in to lead, but he's also a fantastic fragger.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Hugo and Scrawny. It's over to you guys now. I'm really interested in seeing how this one is going to pan out.
Nice guy, that Paula, eh?
Yeah, he's all right. He'll do.
Depends on the day.
Well, this one's going to be interesting, to be honest. I think this is a kind of a classic matchup, right? Like, especially online. We were talking a little bit about this earlier. When these two teams face off a lot, it seems to be quite consistently when they go online. Yeah. Godsent find those victories. When they go on LAN, AGO find those victories. But yeah, they play a lot, and they're split down the middle, 10 and 10 wins each. So anyone's game at the end of the day. I
mean, you look at Godsent, and just performing online is more so what they have under their belt, right? They have recent wins in the ESL Pro League over, I believe, FaZe and Fnatic. Yeah. So like they have actually contended in online environments, but it's when you translate that where obviously AGO flopped, right? They had to play at the bottom of the league. But no, switching over to LAN does kind of, put this asterisk next to what we may assume is Godsent's general performance. It's for that reason that, when I say I predict Godsent to win this, I am still very split, because as mentioned, in a LAN environment, AGO seem to best these guys.
Yeah, so much experience on both teams, but also like upcoming players as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how they battle off against each other. As mentioned on the desk, of course, Brolin, age 15, fantastic in his own right. You know, coming into this scene and coming into this team specifically, looking like you know, one of the top 2 players, and I would say alongside Twist, and occasionally Hampus having those games as well. But you know, and then you look at AGO, who have kind of the core of, you know, 2 older players that played in majors before, and then they have the new stars like Tao and Snatchy, for example, that have shown that, you know, Poland still has more and more talent being produced every single day. And yeah, okay, maybe they can't join VP, at least there's no spots open there, but at the moment I would say AGO best team in Poland.
All right, yeah, you can make that claim if you'd like, Hugo. I would understand where you're coming from. But there was also this kind of like shaky period with AGO, right? I remember the hype when they were able to get into the ESL Pro League, and how, you know, good seemed to expect them to become, because during that period they were besting Virtus Pro on LAN as well, multiple times, WESG qualifiers, for example. And so no, there was definitely a time where I was much more convinced by AGO. That hype has kind of settled off, which is fair, right? If you're expecting any kind of a plateau, it's now that they need to kind of reformulate themselves in order to reach newer heights. I don't think they've reached their ceiling. AGO have, again, as you said, like this nice mix of experience added in with younger fraggers. But it's real beauty, right? We get these 2 underdog stories to start off the day. Torque versus Gambit, obviously Imperial versus North, and now we get a matchup that occurs all the time, right? These players, I believe it's 14 games in 2018 that they've played head-to-head.
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit. They're used to one another, they've got a lot to prove, and it's going to be a bit of a grudge match, which I'm all for. We began the day on Overpass, and we shall return, folks. The 3rd map of the opening day of Tours.
Straight into it, Godsent CT side start. We've got AGO on their T half. Bit of utility brought up on their pistol as well, and Godsent throwing over a deagle to Hampus with the armor on the CT side. Rare to see, but some aggression thrown in straight away from Twist. He's going to try and bring the heat. Unsuccessful. And AGO splitting their way up towards A-Long. They need to make sure they don't lose these 2 utility players.
All right, smooth start. USP's tapping away. Twist denied his 2nd kill as Brolin picks it up. And then both players opt to fall back. In fact, Twist will linger a little longer because he wants to help out Freddy B, who's capable in catching another kill. Now, the utility's strong with what remains of AGO. Both of these players pushing in off of Long. Brolin going to be tested and yet successful with dropping another body. Furlan outnumbered, outgunned, and doomed. It is Brolin to seal the deal and Godsent to win their pistol.
And that's so good to see as well. Natu was talking about, you know, being 15 years old, playing on the stage, playing at top-tier events in South Korea, for example, and saying he was really nervous. Brolin coming straight in, first round of the tournament, 3 kills, all headshots. This is how we want to see him start off, with a bit of confidence here. We don't want him cracking under the pressure if Godsent are going to find this victory, because AGO certainly have some firepower of their own, but it is the 2nd force buy here, or the 2nd round. Bit of utility on Furlan, and flashbangs are split across the players as well as armor. Godsent going to be caught in the back, or at least Brolin will be. Tao opening up, and that's going to be the 1st kill for AGO. Looking to chase down the 2nd man as well, but Twist doesn't want to give them the satisfaction. He'll just fall back to the A site and call for reinforcements.
Reinforcements do arrive. He's got that man in sight. Hampus has come into bathrooms with him. So this leaves Long open for the taking. And AGO have realized this. They'll deploy their smoke grenades, the little that they have. Flashes go out. Molotov down by Hampus. He's looking to push back any kind of an additional peek, but there's Tao. He manages to get himself into the site, and Twist can't do anything from behind. Despite having an M4, he is dropped, and AGO come out of nowhere.
Not a single death, and Godsent want nothing to do with that either. You can already see Freddy B saved outside of that B bomb site, and Disco Doppelin going to try and join him. That's if AGO let them escape, because Snatchy's already on the hunt. He's already moved away through the connector. Dangerous to push with that M4, because again, they did just pick up these guns off the body of Godsent. AGO want to try and hold on to them, build up that money. Maybe send players like Groovy and Furlan, who really don't have a lot to lose. But just locking down the exteriors of the map, pinning Godsent in to some extent towards that T-spawn, and yeah, okay, maybe they won't be able to finish him off, but Groovy, he'll just chase for it anyway. Absolutely no fear on him, as well as Furlan. As we said, Disco Doppelin waiting for this fight, and a dink coming through. He needs to fall back. He's going to get chased here, and the kill found by Snatchy as well. So AGO, 4 frags. They don't save every gun, but they take the vast majority of them away.
Yep, certainly putting Godsent in a bit of a tricky position. Brolin caught running backwards. That's always one of those situations. Whenever I see that happen, I wonder, you know, why not run backwards?
Yeah.
Move those feet, keep that gun trained in, but he thought he had the timing. Didn't realize, of course, that a player had pushed up so close to the wall because just moments before, he had half-peeked, just not clearing the corner. So he falls to an unsuspecting aggression. Boost in connector. Nice grenade. Twist taken to 52. Freddy slightly tagged, and of course, that's one weapon from Godsent, the M4 and Ump. And it's the Deagle combined with the M4A4 over the shoulder that does net them an opening kill. A FAMAS has been retrieved here. And the CTs now exit. That's great. They have an opportunity to just move out through short because AGO have no presence towards B site other than eyes on Monster.
They will look towards the toilets instead. Godsent very, very passive on A with the one player just jump spotting on the dice. AGO won't see him. A second man called in as well. So Brolin looking to get aggressive. And actually, this timing could work very well for Godsent. AGO just gave up their A control and regrouped down the connector. So this push up towards toilets gives not only Godsent the information that this isn't an A push, but also the ability to fast rotate into the back line of AGO once they go for the commitment. And that looks like it's about to happen. Molotov in, Twist forced off the angle. Snatchy going to find the opening kill there for AGO, and they're flooding onto the bomb site. Kills need to come through here for Godsent, and Hampus kicks us off with one, but Freddy B still in the pit getting pressured, and Brolin with the long-term flank going to finally come in with a kill. Absolute slaughter on the B site. AGO bombed down, but only one frag.
Yep, it bounces back into the hands of Godsent. Certainly helps, of course, if they're able to win that first dueling connector, and then more importantly, are afforded an exit route for absolutely free. Nobody could curb the enthusiasm and aggression there on the side of AGO, so they let one slip through their fingertips. We're going to start this one back and forth, Hugo. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think if any game was going to go like 4 Spy Wars, it would be this matchup, right? Look at the teams that we have ahead of us. Look at the firepower. Furlan, he's dropped over the AWP. He doesn't even have armor into this round, let alone a rifle. Down on a P250 and out of cash. AGO, they still have a full buy ahead of themselves with the rifles, and they're going to look to make quick contact plays into B. Tao already walked up short.
Dodges the nade. Could have been much worse. Player still floating around and Twist on the forefront. He's going to walk right into the setup of Tao, but he gets himself the headshot. Oh, and another Snatchy denied. And Furlan, who is, of course, unequipped for the situation, now wants a gun. He's the third casualty. Twist going off, and now the help comes in from Connector. Hampus looks to take them all down, but Grubby will get himself a single frag. The ops retrieved. Something done by Gruby, Hugo. Something at least, but that round just falls apart. Excellently done by Twist.
Yeah, fantastic work. It was the long flank that just gave them all the information. Twist so confident in taking those duels.
It's what goes back to Natu on the desk. He's saying, you know, if Godsent want to be successful on the CT side, they need to be careful with their aggression. Their aggression into the setup is what nets them all those kills, and it was calculated at that.
I think we have a Bison in this round, just going to say. Oh no, Hampus has pulled it out. Although Brolin, he's going to be the one tasked as he falls back early on for Twist. He's not going to commit to the duel, and Brolin has to because he's being pinched from both angles. He wins a second fight, and the bomb drops, goes in for more, but he's out of ammo and eventually dead to the Glock. Luckily enough, the Bison comes in for the cleanup crew, and Hampus going to be making some money on the exit. Gruby, last man up for AGO. While he will find Hampus in the smoke, he won't find anything from it. That's going to be a gun upgraded as well. So the Bison out, thank God.
And we're in France, Hugo. It's pronounced
Bison.
Bison.
Ah.
Le pipi bison.
Thank you, Connor. Is that a French word?
I have no clue.
It would make sense. Sounds right.
Sounds right. That's what's important. And everything looks all right so far from Godsent. They've started this game with 4 rounds to their pocket. AGO looking to bounce back now that they are equipped for the situation. Not as well equipped as Twist, who of course has robbed the op away. But it will be connector control once more here from Hampus. He will walk in alone. When we talk about calculated aggression and safe plays, that's definitely not one of them. He is a liability right now, but it's gone unpunished, which is fantastic. He has so much information and, more importantly, map control. Unfortunately for Brolin, he never sees that kill coming. Gruby just smashes him down from the top of Banana, and now AGO will work out long. This is what they tried to start the game with, and it looks like they'll go back.
Oh, so much damage through the smoke, though. Already, Disco's down to 30 HP, and although this flank has come through, just ensuring the fact that this is an A push, AGO, they're already on the site. We may have a heavy defense to Godsent, but they're not being able to put up the kills. Doppelman with one, doubles with the AWP, but he's stuck in the corner. Not a position you want with that AWP. No ability to fall back. It leaves just Hampus on that long flank again. And while he will open up to Groovy, AGO, they can just drop down to that lower site, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Snatchy taking the bomb with him. May only have 20 points of health, but I think Hampus has realized this one. At least he's one step ahead. He's going to fall back down the connector.
Hampus is a very smart player. He's one of those guys that I love to watch in these sorts of situations. Like, his flank didn't come in time, but that doesn't mean he's not capable of winning out on the round. He's got heavy utility plus the kit. He could smoke the right side, isolate the kills, and in fact, he could... Oh, he's seen him, but he offers up his backside. Luckily for him, it's clear for the taking. He knows where these players are at. That Molotov's going to go forward, and he's just going to try to stick this now. The AWP's not going to find the angle. The AK's nowhere near, and PHR will save it. Down to the wire there, Hugo.
Not even a second left on that bomb. Really nice play, especially considering he didn't want to waste time trying to work out where their second player was. Again, was being completely flanked round through Monster, but just in the nick of time, PHR makes the full route round and saves the day for AGO. Comes at a cost, but they find their second round on the board. However, Godsent, talking about cost, they've invested everything they have into this round, trying to find this reset in response as an AWP dons on both teams. Quick connector control taken by AGO, but they give it up without too much of a hassle. It's Godsent with a boost up on the B site, the AWP over the top as well. That is in fact the case. Twist focusing towards the connector. I like that. The door's been blown off by the grenade. He's got a good sight line into it. AGO probably unsuspecting of this position as well, but they won't be anywhere near it. It's only Snatchy outside of the B site as AGO look to pressure along again, a position that Brolin has been caught out on before, but this time he's back towards the site. And Disco Doppelman playing bait on the corner as well, so AGO, will they expect this setup? It's pretty common. There's no AWP here for Brolin, so he's not going to have a great job of defending, but already his teammate is dead. The timing catches off Godsent.
No push off of this. In fact, they reroute themselves the other way. Furlan will linger a little longer. That bomb will head down towards B. Now, it's not as if they've had connector control or short water in their hands at all. AGO have only been working with the extremities of the map. They check the bottom of ladder where Hampus was able to flank from in a previous round. Oh no, Snatchy. He gives away the audio cue. Freddy B capitalizes on the scope gun, and he can't get himself another one, but Twist certainly can as he comes down from connector in the 3 versus 3. It is AGO to blanket the bomb site in both smoke and bodies. But Hampus, well, he wants to turn them into corpses, and he will start with the carrier. There's the second kill. Looking for a third as PHR creeps around smoke. He gets himself 2, and it's back down to the clutch now. Twist in position from short, scoped in and patiently waiting. 10 seconds to the clock and a safe plant, but it's a fake. Twist misses, and PHR with a 1v3.
That is not something you can account for. Fantastic play from PHR, and even though Twist seemingly had the angle on lockdown, it's the wide strafe from PHR that he does not expect. Very nice play, completely aware of that flank from Twist after the kill came through above the connector early on, and look at that spray transfer to the second player. Even attempts the pre-fire. Confidence on this man is insane, and AGO, they're back in it. They put Godsent on pistols.
With an unnecessary jump from Hampus, because if he's already on top of logs, then he can just wide peek the smoke and still see above. Yeah. That jump was unnecessary, maybe meant to serve a distraction, but he got served a taste of his own medicine as his brains were blasted on the back of the B bomb site. And this is the result of it. It is only pistols with a mag 7 for Brolin. Hugo, how's that make you feel?
I like that. I like a good shotgun.
High kill reward. A little bit of buckshot. He's put it in a prime position as well, right? Regardless of any rotation, AGO would love to work connector, but they also don't need it. Remember that.
Yeah, they've just snuck into B right now. They're about to make complete contact. Hampus, it's all about timing here. How long does he commit to the angle for? Does he reposition? And that is the fact. Furlan dead, so 1 kill coming through, and Freddy B finds one on the other side of the map at the same time. So Godsent 2-man advantage, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. AGO still have the weaponry to play with, but Hampus with armor gifted the AK-47 from the body of PHR. An opportunity presents itself for Godsent now on the retake, and they can take their time considering the bomb just went down. Boost up, flank round long, double scope for Snatchy, but he hits a shot. Does he expect more players to come from the same position? It's a yes, and he hits the second one as well. Dinked through and finished off, but Hampus is back in with 2, looking to try and round up with a 4 kids. Twist to take away the last frag, but Godsent Fantastic retake there with just pistols. The fact they're able to lock it down with only one armored player is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, Hampus has a huge round there. Kicks it off with the first bullet, right? That's what's important. First contact, first shot, and it's the opening kill. That gave him space to then exit. That second frag as well from Freddy B is very crucial because they are able to retrieve the AK. And from there, things go from bad to worse for the T side. Sure, they get their bomb plant, but it's not enough to buy. They will be back into the pistols, and Godsent back in with guns. Gifted this opportunity now.
Good decision, though, by AGO. A lot of teams would have forced buy in this situation. Instead of that, they just rather eco once, get that full buy next round. Don't want to continue these force buy wars that Godsent seem to be so good at doing. Roland, tasked in the toilets. He's going to find that first. Groovy crossing. Second peek coming through from Snatchy. He's not aware of anyone on the backside as well. He's even got support from that AWP, but Twist has to flick back on long, overwhelmed by the Glock of Towel. Luckily enough, he can't retrieve it. There's still Roland here looking to round up with a 4K himself. And Godsent, pretty easy task of dealing with the eco from AGO. Only one casualty. The AWP carried forward by Brolin. And another round on the board to boot.
Things got a little sketchy there, considering a player falls, but no weapon picked up. They just weren't able to kind of swarm the position, right? Sure, you make contact, sure, you deal damage, but it's not a situation to sail forward with. This could be a buyback from AGO. Op in the hands of Snatchy. Twist quickly into connector, immediately falls off. So he just wants to throw the Molotov, maybe to show some kind of presence, to make a bit of a ruckus, to sell the ruse. They will retreat safely, but then Disco Doplin, well, he starts to calculate his own aggressions. I think this has been playing into exactly what Natu wanted.
Yeah, I mean, look at Godsent. Look how deep they are on the map control. This is so just early. No information, no call. Godsent just want to take it, and they're grouped up as well, so good tradability with these positions. The issue is that push up on short, but in the meantime, they're even pushing A. Adding some risk into this one is Brolin, stuck with his back turned to the long, his eyes focused on the toilet. Hampus already going down to Furlan, who catches that push up through the tunnel. Will he expect the second man, though? It's going to be a no. Freddy B trades straight back. Godsent keeping things in check, but not for long as PHR comes out the connector. The early Molotov by Twist does not convince AGO of the fact that anyone's there, and they're going to try and hit this B site. Molotov will delay them on the push, but they still have plenty of time to continue as Godsent have not rotated men down. There's only Disco Doppler in position. Twist has finally found his way into the spot as well, and Roland trying to lock down short. It's Twist to find first blood on the B site.
Thing is they've given up all of short. This allows Brolin to get into such a powerful position. Look at this! He just skewers them as they try to push the bomb onwards. It's still cut down to the 2v1. Oh, and denied by Snatchy. Up close headshot. Makes it the most. My goodness. What a round. That could have gone much better for AGO, I'd argue, right? They had all the short control they needed, but they wanted to put everybody out through Monster. And this is the shot that finished it off. Go back to school.
Yeah, get out. Not too bad after all from Snatchy. And now AGO looking like another bit of a faster B play. Godsent have got aggressive on the A side of the map, but AGO just going to speed on in through the Molotov. Smoke to extinguish, and Freddy B can't get it done. Only a dink to PHR. The spray not transferred, as Disco Doppler's got to do all the work alone. One frag from him. Twist does step up with the AWP in the meantime, finding a player on the back line. And AGO, they're contained at long corner. They're contained all the way at the back, and there's nothing they can do. So much utility going into that position. And the trades may come through, but they're too little and too late. It's only Furlan in a 1-on-3 stuck on the site with 30 points of health, and Godsent all the information to play with.
Goodbye. Twist denies any more movement. Like cows to the slaughterhouse, they were herded into the corner. The smoke grenades, the flanks in from short. A very contained push there from AGO. Very nicely handled by Godsent. I mean, that was as straightforward as you could get to a rush. They simply ran right through the entirety of Monster. We saw the Molotov go down, and still they were not diverted. Headstrong into their demise. And now Godsent look to bully their opponents. Should be a sweep into the 8-4. Brolin. He's not shying away from any kind of a gunfight, especially with Disco back to support him. And sure enough, he has yet to find his third. There it is, Hugo. Little pistol tap to finish it off.
Bit dicey for a second there, but again, seeming like an eco with only one casualty across it with Godsent. No head armor for Brolin, so a bit of a mistake there. But Disco Doppelman will clear up with 4 kills. Not too much of a hassle for the Swedish side. They're going to find their 8th round on this CT side. Pretty good start to the map, but I still think AGO have a kick in them. They've got rifles to come through now as well after that near full eco. AGO, a very reserved team when it comes to the buys. They don't often overforce or get caught down or bogged down in these force buy wars, so they're just going to play it safe. Rifles are out. Issue is not a lot of utility here, Connor. Only 1 smoke grenade across the entire team, and the same story with the Molotov also on Tau. This creates problems. AGO definitely going to have to win some aim battles, but Twist, oh, he's double scoped in. He doesn't realize the player's crossed, so he does get 1, but the trade is instant.
Yeah, he's lucky to have even found 1 frag. Like you said, that double scope had him so tunnel visioned. Look at Brolin, repositions back through bathrooms, and will then re-aggress towards long. Now, he's been consistently aggressing towards long all the way over towards party, but this time, he's got the corner held onto. Of course, there's a flank moving forward as well from these CTs. They are not shying away. In fact, it is a little overzealous. Freddy B caught by PHR and punished accordingly. Trespassing's a no-go. But Brolin, well, Brolin's got Tau dead to rights. Op dropped, man advantage established, and Furlan looking for a trade here, but his movement is limited, and Brolin now has cover.
No need to re-peek this as well. Dangerous fight to take, and he peeks preemptively before the reload comes in. Nade should do some damage, but he just avoids it. Brolin goes back in, only to go down. Furlan lining up 2. The player on the site, Hampus, dead as well. And it's all falling apart here for Godsent. A 3-on-2 down to a 1-on-2 for Disco Doppelman. A full belter utility and the site given up. They have no idea where he's coming from, but they planted on the other side. He's going to try and quickly get into position where 1 man has got the bomb out, but PHR has the cross. AGO back in with a rifle round, back in with 5. And keeping players alive as well means money is not the worst of situations for them. Let's see this lineup.
Yeah, I want to see how intentional.
No, didn't even see that second player. I'll take that.
Sometimes Counter-Strike just gifts you rewards, Hugo. Why not? I mean, that's crucial for Furlan, right? Considering, you know, he now has, what, 5 kills this game? Those are a very important couple to go his way. Now, we've seen Godsent equipped with far less in a similar situation, having Brolin lock connector with the shotgun. It is just entirely B presence, right? They have conditioned AGO to be wary of long A. Look at their positioning here towards playground. They're anticipating a party peek or some kind of long push, when in fact it is Godsent emphasizing both connector and B. With a man advantage, they've primed themselves for a sweet spot. But in the meantime, they've also opened the door towards A, and AGO, well, they don't realize they can just slip right through.
But it is all on timing here. If Godsent can flank up appropriately and not even spot that bomb in party, but just kill the players in the toilets, this could be fantastic. However, AGO, far from committed. The bomb going to be picked back up, and Disco Doppelman hunting for something. He just catches the timing. Groovy's looking back down here, so this is dangerous for Disco Doppelman. As long as he doesn't re-aggress here, Godsent still hold the man advantage, and Twist will double it down on the site. Snatchy dead, and now the flank can begin to come out as AGO make footsteps, looking to trade this kill from Twist. Disco Doppelman quick on the behind, and he's going to get the taps off. Lots of damage, and finished off by Hampus as his distraction was good enough from Doppelman. He will go down, but Groovy won't expect the second man up. Brolin, sorry, with the shotgun, and Freddy as well. It's just constant double peeking from Godsent. They're not giving AGO any room. The second AGO's positions are conceded, Godsent are just challenging them from every single angle possible. Site, toilets, connector, everywhere. They're not giving them room to breathe. They're not letting AGO settle back and find picks.
It's a suffocating strategy here from Godsent. AGO choking over and over, but oh, okay.
Groovy.
Let's get a little Bison. Another one, an encore. Twist with the scope up towards Monster. Smoke in his face, fire at his feet, and players already starting to cross, but luckily he's got Disco to help out with a 2K. Then they're overwhelmed. That SMG hits the dirt, but Brolin shotguns in position too much at a distance. He cannot handle these players. And so it falls on to Hampus and Freddy B. They will rotate downwards in the 15th round of the half, trying to clasp at just 1 more. Double digits, Hugo, loom within arm's reach. CT's now starting to get this rolling. Hampus lines up 2 bodies, then he's caught off guard by the man down into the water. It's Tau with a CZ out of bullets, fresh reload, and it's not gonna happen. Freddy gets the clutch, Godsent take their round.
Can I just say, Hampus is looking so sick today, so warmed up, confident in taking the duels, and Godsent, you know, you mentioned suffocation. This really is it. Godsent are just not allowing AGO to get anything done. So aggressive, constantly pushing. They've flanked numerous times. Even Brolin contesting there towards short with the shotgun. A lot of players just would sit back behind the sandbags there, and of course Brolin goes down, but it just shows the confidence on Godsent's side. To go for that kind of fight is a clear example of how confident and how ready Godsent are to take this victory versus AGO.
The confidence comes from their lack of hesitation, right? Whenever they see some kind of a commitment from AGO, they tend to just go full on against it. They're not really worrying about being caught over-rotating or being wrong in their decision-making. They make the call, they're right, and then everybody's still performing on an individual level, right? Great for Hampus. I mean, this is a very gelled CT side here from Godsent, a very successful CT side, in fact, as they double up over AGO.
And the scary thing is here now moving into that second half is if we've seen Godsent be so aggressive on the CT side and take so much initiative in forcing kills when it's not necessarily their right to do so, now on the T side where they can control the engagements and just go for these B charges, I think we might see a lot of very fast-paced approach from Godsent. Not allow AGO to set up, not allow AGO to at least group. Godsent to just overwhelm them like they have been doing in this first half, and straight into the pistol round here, Hampus with some slight utility. Same story on AGO here as well. And Godsent setting up with one man outside of B, but a slow connector walk here. They're not committing straight away. AGO even have a boost up. And with Groovy taking control of the B short as well, this connector control could be very dangerous. Luckily enough, they walk up the stairs away from the threat.
With Bomb sitting back, quite clearly Godsent not looking to make a commitment off of this. Playing for information, playing for an initial gaze into what AGO have set up for them. Disco, the tail end of the caboose, is caught by Snatchy, who is just looming here inside the water. The element of surprise, but now they start to realize they need this bomb. This would have been a prime opportunity for them to, in fact, commit to A. There's only 2 players here. Now we start to get this movement within the CTs. You see this player closer on short water, locking down connector. So Godsent missed an opportunity in terms of timing, but by playing with this timing, now AGO, they start to double guess themselves.
That smoke going down as well completely shields Furlan's view. No information as to how many Godsent players could be committed. He wants to play on the edge though. He's hungry for the frag and he might actually catch it as well. Tag down so low. Luckily his teammates are relieving some of the pressure by killing the men walking up through the toilets, but Hampus responds with a double kill on the P250. 20 seconds left and Godsent swarming over the bomb site. One man caught in the corner and Hampus is leaving no survivors here. 3 kills coming in for the man himself, and Groovy pincered back. He doesn't even realize this is B. Godsent have fully rotated with the bomb, and yeah, okay, Groovy gets the kill, but he's given up the site. 9 seconds left as the plant comes in, and Godsent, they may have just done it.
Again, fantastic call, and an even better play. Hampus taking this one away from AGO despite their initial man advantage. Now Groovy, he's got the kit, the smoke, and the Kevlar to boot. He's working with all 3 pieces. What he needs now is the headshots to connect. And I believe he spotted both players. He's seen the tracers of the man on site. He knows there's one towards Graffiti, and he's gunned it down to just the 1v1 now. Freddy B with positioning behind the wood. And Groovy, well, he's going to touch that bomb. Now Panic starts to strike in. Freddy B with the movement, so sneaky. And there it is, up close, he finds it. So smart from Freddy.
That is an amazing reposition. Not dropping into the pit where he's easily caught out from the peak on the bridge, but instead straight to the site, straight in the corner. The last player just climbs over the top of him, expecting him to have completely wrapped, but no. Freddy 1 step ahead, and fantastic work from Hampus to manage to work his way up along with the P250 and drop 3 players. Godsent poised for success here in the second half. 4 rifles into the second round as well. They want no money. They just want to take this victory here and now. And they will already start off with a bit of damage down B. The scout tagged up with the same story for Disco Doppler, who will get overwhelmed by the CZ-75. At least AGO kicking things off with the man advantage, but they need to hold on to it. And Godsent already starting to put pressure on other avenues of the map. And there we go, Snatchy caught watching the wrong side of the connector. Yeah,
and the player at the top of the stairs, I believe, makes noise. Just as he turns away from the angle, that's when the lower peak comes in. So great timing from Godsent. Communication and teamwork to a T. But this CT, Tao, unsuspectingly positioned still towards long B, is about to find contact, and probably more than he'd hoped for. 3 players to his left, 1 more inside connector, and AGO are nowhere to be found towards this B site. You would never expect for 3 terrorists to be on the other side of this barrel, so he continues to duel V1, but now they start to flood into his crosshairs. That is substantial damage. And it's still a chance for AGO as they will flood downwards as fast as can be.
Yeah, Groovy already set up on the site close with an MP9 here. That could be dangerous. Smoke is down, though, from the side of Godsent, and that's just going to give AGO room to hide in it. Groovy spotted, so his cross to the barrels is now given away, but Godsent don't have a Molotov for that position. They've got to take the aim battles, and they do win it. Hampus with the opener. PHR already tagged up early on with the scout, and the Deagle through the smoke as Furlan finds a headshot. He's alone, and he's got to pick up the clutch, but it's just not going to happen. Godsent are taking this round by round, and that's a 12th on this T side. Connor, are they ever going to let up the pressure? It doesn't seem to be the case.
I mean, not at least until these counter-terrorists have guns. But after the back and forth we saw at the start of the first half, remember, of course, it eventually led to a 4-1 beginning from Godsent, so pretty much picking up pistol and conversion. Now they've done that twice, so that is one hell of a start. The odds at this point quite clearly favoring Godsent to close out the map, and we've seen no reason not to believe that to happen here.
Yeah, again, double Mac 10, PP Bison, Godsent already opening up, and somehow Twist hits that shot from a sheer range to the head of Groovy. Hampus is already in the CT spawn, just trying to chase down these surviving AGO players. He may just bypass one in the bank, but assuming the shot comes through, he should turn back around. And PHR, you have one opportunity. You can't afford to mess that up. Hampus, another $600 in the bank, and Godsent, the 13th round on the board. It's just Snatchy trying to get any kind of exit, but if Disco Doppler walks around this corner, that will be the end as he knows it. There we go. Godsent with 13 rounds, and now finally AGO will pull in rifles, but this is their only opportunity, Connor. Yeah,
again, losing out pistol round, that definitely delays what could have been a successful CT side, so their chances will be minimal. But still existent. There's no reason to write these guys off. They know each other. Consistent opponents. Constantly facing each other as well. Although this seems to be the time Godsent break that curse and are looking to pick up a land victory over the Poles. Short control being taken. AGO primed to open this door. There are 2 players right on the other side. In fact, it opens in his face. Tao just gets smothered into the wall here, and now it's Groovy's chance to trade. He only gets himself one as Brolin successfully takes it back. But it does still leave Godsent to a man advantage, and it leaves Furlan in a bit of a pickle. He's got a teammate by his side. They're going to have to lock down this cross, but the utility's making this uncomfortable. It's making it awkward. Great lineup from Furlan. He's still standing, and PHR's here, unsuspectingly about to strike, but now he starts to spam. He announces himself. And that leaves it all on Snatchy.
That's so unlucky as well. The player walking through the smoke just showed his barrel, and without committing, PHR gives away his position because of that. Now Snatchy has to hit a shot, and he misses his first opportunity, and the second. AGO struggling to keep himself in this map here as Snatchy, he's not going to get a third opportunity. Godsent have grouped up back on short. They're not committing to the duel, and even if they do, it's an instant trade available, and that's not even going to be needed. Disco Doppler cleans house. And Godsent a 14th round here as they look to end this map before it's even started for AGO.
I mean, coming into this opening day here, Hugo, I would have suspected this to be one of the closest matches.
Yeah.
You know, we look at the lopsidedness of expectations with obviously Imperial and Torque in the equation. This was supposed to be 50-50, but Godsent are asserting themselves, continuing to succeed here, a level above and beyond. AGO at a loss for words, rounds and money. Pistols, couple bits of Kevlar, 1 smoke left over, and a heavy bit of mid presence. They do have that connector stacked. And in fact, Furlan starts this off with a clean headshot through Brolin.
AGO biting the bullet to actually eco this and play for the overtime. If they manage to win it as well, that would be great for them. Not only would it give them a huge cash bonus, but of a round that they never expected to win. Close angle here for Furlan. Just centimeters away from that AWP, but the Molotov forces them back down the connector. Into the hands of Freddy as well, who just sits and lies and waits. AGO still want to contest the top side of the party, play that headshot angle, try and catch out the AWP cross for Godsent, but they're going to be unsuccessful in doing so. In the meantime, they give up other areas of the map, and Hampus will exploit that exact factor, but he goes down to the Deagle. Things are looking up for AGO, and Godsent have got to come in with a response here and now. Snatchy, great position, especially with his teammate there as well. And Furlan going to find another frag on that Deagle. Somehow AGO in a 5-on-2. Godsent desperately barreling back towards the B site, but in the meantime, AGO, they're confident enough to rotate into position. They've got the manpower and the weaponry to deal with this push. Will they be able to hit the shots as well? Missed from Furlan, but the flank is already coming through, and that might just be it. Disco Doppelin doubles down, somehow finding a third out of nowhere, and Godsent are back in this.
20 seconds, down to 15. PHR still lingers in the water, and there's the flank behind. They try to use the smoke to blanket the plant, and Twist. Ooh, he gets it in, but now can he clutch? He hears the shots close, and PHR anticipates the drop, so yes, AGO will close this. Disco Doppelin definitely bails them out of what could have been even worse. 3 kills for him on that B site, despite them being enveloped with defenders. It's something for AGO to work with, but there's no doubt this is late.
Hey, we've seen a 12-3 comeback today, Connor. Anything is possible. And AGO winning an eco round, a round they expected to give away 15 to Godsent. Now with 3K in the bank, plus the 3K for actually winning that, they're going to have tons of money. A lifeline, in fact, to keep themselves in this game, but not saying Godsent don't have the same amount of cash. We just saw those SMGs and those anti-ecos. AWP is up for Snatchy, though. Straight up towards the A bomb site early on, and Godsent are going to take, again, quick connector control, but more of an established default this time. They're not looking to go for a faster approach. They know they have rounds to play with, no reason to overextend. They can win this game here and now just off the back of this reset. But Snatchy doesn't want to give them the opportunity. Scope down towards A is just going to fall back. Not going to get picked off early.
Oh, Disco. Oh, he just had his crosshair in the right position, but Tao finds him on the timing. Twist. Slaps one back. 4v4. No short control for either team, although Freddy is curious about it. His priority is connector. As he clears the corners, Godsent will start to piece together the bigger picture. AGO currently split with 2 players per site.
No real rush for Godsent as well. 50 seconds on the clock. Plenty of utility. The 4v4 only splits AGO up further, making this easier for Godsent, because again, if they find 2 quick kills in succession onto this A site, those rotations from AGO just can't come in. We need to see significant damage from the CT side before that bomb goes down if they want to actually consider winning this, and that might be enough. Furlan and Snatchy both grabbing a kill. 30 seconds now and time starts to become an issue, but Freddy B responds back with a double of his own. Now we have a 2v2 that AGO can certainly contest, with Freddy being tagged up and Godsent only just getting their way to the site. PHR may consider it. Groovy relieves pressure by getting the kill on the back line, and now this really starts the pressure for Brolin. He has to force the plant or has to force 2 kills. He goes for the latter. PHR trying to get chased down, but this is going to have to be quick. 9 seconds on the clock. There's the first. Has to stick the plant right now. He has no idea where Groovy's coming back from because he's wrapped all the way around long. And Brolin giving away the position and given an opportunity. He takes it. Brolin finds 15 rounds for Godsent. 1 away from victory here on Overpass.
15 rounds, 15 years young. What a clutch there on the bomb site. He gets it and makes it look so easy, Hugo. Time was the biggest issue, and that headshot was swift. The smoke helped out in the clutch. He heard this push. He knew exactly what was up. And he shuts things down. AGO have been robbed. They had the flank timing and everything. Now they'll have 3 weapons to work with. CZ in the Deeg for 2. Starting to try and apply pressure on short is Tao. Nice little flick down towards Twist. Snaps his neck straight back. Pompous looks to respond, but he's getting bottled up with his teammate by his side. And now it's another T to die. Freddy B removed thanks to Furlan. A little connector control for AGO to work with, and he can easily retreat back to A. They don't realize this yet, but the entirety of Godsent still lingers towards B.
AGO just seeming to have a habit of winning rounds that they don't expect. Limitations do not stop the polls here, but they are still a huge streak behind. Disco Doppelin looking back towards short, but on a 5-on-3, surely you wouldn't expect AGO to push, so this peak, dangerous for Tao, but he gets the information, at least knows that there's still presence outside of B, but Godsent have rotated 1 man up to try and either come down that connector, take the kill to Furlan, or try and sell the fake towards A. As Furlan just sits on that boosted spot, Brolin going to start to consider this connector as an opportunity. It's all down to the timing. Which way is Furlan watching and when? Oh, no, this could be perfect. Brawler just sneaks around. There it is. Furlan's dead. Now they're going to be convinced of this B play, and they just go straight on in. Disco Doppelin again, bailing his team out with a big old double kill. One man left up on the site. If they can isolate this could be their round, but Tao wants nothing to do with it. One from him, and Brolin cannot find the clutch this time. It's AGO keeping things alive, but with only one player surviving, Connor, as if their money wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, things are looking a little spooky here for AGO. Man, even Brolin, when in another 1 versus 2 situation, still nearly locks the clutch. If he was behind cover, then Tao would not have had such an easy job locking it down. But great positioning from Tao, using the pillar to isolate the 1v1s. And obviously the player helping out from Graffiti would initially grab that push's attention. So it works out great, but oh no. This is a fast play. Fantastic flash helps out Tao with shutting down this initial peak. Now, these teams are going to get bottled in by the MP9. Smoke at their feet. And PHR nearly dies there. Considering the investment coming in from these terrorists, this is still a quite successful round. Until now. That's crucial from Snatchy. He grabs 2 frags, locks down Connector, and leaves Hoppus all alone.
Dear, oh dear. Only an MP9 gifted over, though. He needs to find an M4 if he wants to increase the range, and instead of wrapping back towards short to try and grab that bomb where AGO are situated, he goes up through the CT spawn. Now, with the amount of time this is going to take him to flank round onto these Polish players, I'm sure they'll realize the possibility, but will both players be convinced of it? Yes, AGO send both men back towards the stairs. Hampus, very difficult job of isolating the 1v1s in this kind of angle, and he's already clearing out all the close corners, but this man has had a tear of a map so far. With the amount of time taken, AGO, they send the players back down the stairs, and there's the push from Hampus, but it's not going to be good enough. Tao wins the duel. AGO still in this by the skin of their teeth, round by round, clawing this game back. But there's still that question mark. Eventually, surely Godsent will get one more round.
You would think, Hugo. You would think. Still ample opportunity for AGO to prove themselves, though. Obviously, it is not the most stable of places to be. But this round, looking relatively easy. In the context of only the 24th round. Obviously, their job's still incredibly hard. 7 in a row is needed. This would be the most lopsided score if Godsent can close it out we've seen yet today. Furlan and Snatchy, though, this is just too easy, Hugo. 4 frags, no contest.
Always Hampus, though.
It's always the last guy alive.
Still taking some damage as well. Shouldn't find anything more than that, but yeah, it's alright. It was a full eco from Godsent. Only slight P250s invested into that round, and now we see AGO begin to make this one a potential reality. With 9 on their CT side. They can't be counted out of this one. Godsent do have money in their pockets. 2,400 loss bonus coming in here. Big AKs are in their hands. Not a lot of utility to take into account. So AGO still in a good spot and looking for double digits themselves. They play towards Connector, but Godsent won the exact same fate. Already fast pushed down here for the T side. Furlan about to be overwhelmed as soon as that Molotov expires. He is alone in this position as well, so he's got to be very careful, but the smoke luckily gives him an opening. Nice nade. Hampus, one of the point men here, tagged down early on.
No real threat inside Connector, though. AGO, they fade away. They're going to lock down Long A instead. Even their man rotating in through bathrooms is in a position to easily fall back. That would be Furlan. Spotting for contact, could try the headshot angle, but oh, the timing, Hugo. And now, because of this, he might not expect them to be so close up. There you have it. Brolin catches him off guard. They could just gun their way up through bathrooms. They will have to worry about this positioning from Tao. He is spotted. And remember, Snatchy starts to shut down that initial A push, knowing someone else is here. Brolin, he couldn't have disappeared. But he will try a vanishing act.
Snatchy can tell he knows. He has an inkling that Brolin's in this position and so aware, deserving that kill. AGO keep the man advantage for now. But with 30 seconds on the clock, Godsent have to make a commitment, and it is going to be towards that lower B bomb site where they choose to go. But Freddy B tagged up, only a couple of smokes left to commit. PH in a very good position to shut this whole operation down, especially with Groovy taking the attention, but he's just going to get railed. First shot going through from Disco Doppelin, and PHR repositions. They won't expect that, and he can stop the bomb. He will, in fact. 2 kills from him on the site, and Snatchy with 1 on that rotational orb. So, Round by round, AGO claw it back. This is still on Connor, and I'm starting to get convinced.
They're making it happen. One after another. Left foot, right foot. Keep on trekking, Hugo.
Baby steps.
No, Brolin's on Godsent.
Nice.
It's just guns, only pistols for Godsent, unfortunately for them. A little bit of utility. Try to get fancy. Although, initial nades will hold them at bay. And flashbang versus Snatchy's enough to convince him back. He doesn't want to give that up over. Ooh. If you want it, come get it. He welcomes them in with open arms. Although now he is harmed. It's still, of course, controlled by Tau. Disco Dopplet. Oh, that could have been disgusting. But a little bit of damage control here as he retreats with his op. Furlan's here to help as well. So they're split here on the defense. 2 players per bomb site. They're trying to figure out what is coming their way. Not much now that Furlan's dispatched of 3. Nice damage control here as Godsent tried to make something happen.
Furlan loves lining up collaterals, doesn't he? He loves a good double kill. However, this time he gets 4. So pretty sick round from Furlan. Of course, only pistols for Godsent are not a huge issue, and that match point noise still ringing in our ears. Godsent giving up quite a few map points here. It's 5 in a row now for AGO, but guns on the horizon here for the Swedish side, and the AWP that we've seen a bit of a hiatus from on Twist, just due to economical instance. Now, AGO, again, fast towards connector is going to be Furlan. And Godsent fast towards long. They've not really gone for this early pressure up towards the A site, but this time it's a bit of a different story, trying to catch AGO off guard. Again, not been a position that anyone's covering right now for the CT side, so Godsent, they can almost walk onto this A site with no information from the Polish.
Remember, this had it to be a 9-round spree from AGO, and well, they've successfully clinched 5. Disco Doppelin back, flashed, and Furlan, well, he's successful in at least getting his way out, but he has an inkling as to someone being here, and sure enough, despite Disco being posted on the angle, Furlan wins his duel. Now that's crucial because simultaneously there was a gunfight elsewhere here towards A, whereby Godsent come out on top, but now their back line is open for the taking. They have no clue if that flank is there. They're going to opt to start charging in now. Godsent coming in with entries. 2 frags for them. And oh no, Groovy, he's pinned into the corner on 18 health. He tries to strike by surprise, but it falls all on Furlan. He'll need an ace in the round to keep his team alive here. If not, Godsent picking up a win. They've got the bomb planted. They have their after plant. And now they just need to seal the deal. A stamp of approval comes right through. Freddy B with a final kill. Godsent the final round. It was a nice attempt, Hugo. They managed to string some together, but some is not enough. A very lopsided start. A strong CT hold from Godsent transitions to a T-side win.
And Godsent, hey, if they continue that performance throughout this event, we could be seeing a very dangerous Swedish roster ahead of us. Again, this team has been on the rise as of late, actually looking very, very good when it comes to their performance. So, finding a very, very confident victory, and although AGO bring it back a little bit, you know, they show signs of life on that second half. If we just look at that first half on its own and forget that second one, Godsent were on fire. If they can bring that up against some other teams in their group, we could be seeing them going out in first place.
Yeah, I mean, Godsent had an overwhelming start, right? AGO were just at a loss. Yeah. I mean, not being able to maintain either of the pistol rounds either, like that really came back to bite them. So Godsent, strong starts each half, and obviously on CT side, it was just through and through. Or, excuse me, T side. It was a little shaky towards the end, but that's what we expected from AGO. We wanted some kind of a showing, and they at least gave us something to praise there towards the end. But I know some other guys who need some praise, Hugo. It's Paulo and the boys on the desk.
I'm actually just writing some notes, so if you guys could keep talking for a bit, that'd be fantastic. See, they've already left me. I guess I'll have to stick with you guys, but luckily, you are my friends. But thank you very much, Hugo and Scrawny. So let's recap exactly what we just saw. Godsent got off to a flying start there, but then AGO managed to creep back into contention. But it was a party at the Disco that I think stopped everything. Disco Doppler there, finishing top of the scoreboard.
The Discos too, eh?
But not just Disco, right? Everyone just came up this game. I saw that, noticed that. Twist, Hampus, everyone just stepped up. And here's the one thing I noticed overall in the way that AJ were playing, with too many individual mistakes. So many times when they get the first pick, they just go in over peaking with no trade potential whatsoever. And I think that was their primary undoing. Keeping aside the fact they did win a couple of rounds. This round, for example, from PHR, like this was a great 1v3, right? But you can't keep relying.
Snatchy as well.
Snatchy as well, yeah. But you can't keep relying on your players pulling off 1v3s and 1v4s to consistently win the rounds. And Godsent were the better team here.
Yeah, I mean, good examples here of what I was going on about. You know, Godsent has to be really smart about their aggression, and they were actually. They were finding the right timings, pulp flashing through with smokes and kind of making plays, being on long and so forth, and denying Ego to have the possibility of doing those attacks with full force a lot of the time, mounting them that big first half. And obviously winning the pistol round, going to the second half, put Ego in a very, very uncomfortable situation. It was more or less just because Godsent was maybe getting ahead of themselves a little bit that cost the game to get it as close as it actually got.
I think Godsent did a fantastic job of spreading the load there. We see 22, 22, 23, 23, and Freddie B on a respectable 17 as well. And so where does that put us now? Godsent will end up playing Talked in the winners match for Group A.
No.
No.
You're...
Where am I, guys?
Pala. I'm so disappointed. Yeah, but
Please do correct me then. Don't just criticize me, guys. Jump in and tell me what's going to happen.
Well, AGO is going to be facing against Torqued. So
there we go.
Yeah,
of course, Talked lost earlier. AGO will be playing Talked in that losers match tomorrow, and then it will be Gambit versus Godsent later today. Thank guys, you're so helpful. Thank you so much. Anyway, we are about to get an interview in with one of the Godsent players, and it's Hampus. How's it going, my friend?
Hey, it's going great.
Good. Of course, you just won. Are you satisfied with your performance? What are your initial reactions to what's just happened?
I'm really happy that we pulled off the win. Like, we lost to them in some days ago in a BO3 online, so it feels great to win.
Yeah, and so what's different now? Was it just the fact that it was BO1 and that you felt better on Overpass? Were you guys feeling confident coming in today? What were the keys to victory, Hampus?
We have played Argo a lot, and we know like any team can win, but we just played our game, and it went our way today.
Okay, Blair, Natu, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I have one very quick question. Is like, since the history you have with AGO, right? You guys have been playing together against each other many times in the recent past, and you've won quite a few. They've won quite a few. So do you have like a different mentality approaching this particular game against them?
Not really. Like, we know if we just hit our shots, we will win the game. So we just play our game and focus.
And they were hitting the shots.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? Oh, sorry, Natu, please go.
No, I was just wondering. We saw a lot of aggressive plays on the CT side, and I was talking before the game that it would be a matter of you guys really finding the rhythm and the flow of when to be aggressive against a team like Gago, who is good at setting up. Was that something you discussed before the game?
Not really. Like, we just told our guys, if you feel to push, just push, and they did. I guess it went well.
Okay, so it was definitely because of the feel.
Yeah.
So I was right on the money.
All right. Hampus, something that we touched upon before the match started is that Godsent has had a mix of rosters over time. Do you feel right now you guys are the strongest Godsent roster there's been, and do you feel the coaching of Nasu is helping out?
I think we are one of the best Godsent rosters, I guess. Like, we haven't been to a major or anything, and the other Godsent rosters has, but I think we're getting there. Yeah, and Nasu helps a lot, and it's really nice.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. You will be playing Gambit later today. Thank you.
Good luck.
Cheers.
All right. So that was interesting there. First time I've had a chance to speak to Hampus. And are you feeling that he's happy overall? Because he said that they're satisfied, but I also get the impression that they've got more to give.
It feels like it's more like a relief for them, you know. They kind of... You could say they were facing their demons to an extent, because they've had a bit of struggle against the team, especially just recently losing to them. So they must be really relieved to be able to get this one through. And now, obviously, their main opponent in this group is Gambit, to try and take that first place. So getting over that first hurdle and now being able to focus into that Gambit matchup, that's a big upside for them.
Sure. I mean, nothing much to add to that. I think now to just hit the nail on the head. Just to add, one small quick thing was he was mentioning like how they were like, you guys go in and get your frags if you have to, and I kind of felt that vibe as well, right? They were just going in for kills and they were feeling it. It's like, sometimes the players just feel it, and everyone on Godsent just hitting the shots. And you got to admit to one quick thing as well. Even though they were going in, many of the times it was, in a pair where the trade potential always there. They were throwing away rounds like I saw AGO do a couple of times.
Yeah, it can be just a little volatile when you play in that way. What if they're not? What if you're saying before the game that just go for it if you're feeling it? But what if you don't feel it? Then what do you fall back on? Do you have the structure? Do you have the setup plays to still be effective? That's the question mark.
That's a big question mark.
Indeed. And now we are officially halfway through day one here at the DreamHack Open Tour 2018. After the break, it will be Hellraisers versus Envious. Also, if you would like to support one of the fantastic companies that help put on these events, don't forget to check out Astro. They make some fantastic peripherals, including headsets. So do not forget to join the Astro family.